Hello and welcome to the Black Eye Podcast. I am your host, Michelle. How you doing? Oh, well, let's get into this video really quickly. I just wanted to come on and share this article with you about how the incel community has made the researchers practically cry because their lives were so sad and pathetic. And we know this. I know this is news that this is not surprising news to anyone, but it was a recent study showing that most of these incels are racist, sad, misogynistic people who are projecting the feelings that they have about themselves, their self-hatred onto women. And it talks about how 50% of these incels are black men and how most of the hate, and I hate to use that word, but it is true, it is hate, their anger is directed toward black women. They don't like women in general, but their anger, their rage pointed specifically toward black women. I wanted to get on here and kind of just talk about this a little bit because even though this is not uncommon, this is uncommon. This is common knowledge. Actually, I'm trying to say this is not something that this is well known amongst all of us who pay attention to the red pill manosphere spaces here. Uh, I really wanted to talk about read this article and read this study, and it's from the Daily Dot here. It said recently, and he goes on to read this, recently published research analyzing a popular discussion board for involuntary celibates, commonly known as incels, is providing new insight into the online community's misogynistic views. Let's see what the new insight is. The study, led by Michael Halpin, an assistant professor of sociology at Dalhousie University, examined more than 3.6 million comments on the website incel.is from November 8, 2017 to April 16, 2021. After collecting a database of popular misogynistic terms such as Becky, which I heard people in the BWE use that term, that's Black Women Empowerment, a derogatory term for white women, or noodle blank, oh Jesus, a term used demeaningly to refer to Asian women, the researchers aim to determine how frequently incels make misogynistic comments while discussing amongst themselves online. This is not surprising. Of course, they're making misogynistic comments online amongst themselves. They're sad little men. Published in the journal New Media and Society earlier this month, the study found that 82% of comment threads and 81% of users' post histories contain at least one of those terms. At least one. That's funny. In this sense, misogyny is a product of the incel community rather than a few select individuals, Halpin wrote. Furthermore, we find that there is no statistically significant overall association between a user's post frequency and their use of misogynistic terms, which suggests most users posting on incels.is do not become misogynistic on incels.is, but arrive already endorsing misogyny. And that is very true. There's an old saying in the Bible, I think it's in the book of Revelation, let the holy be holy still, let the righteous be righteous still, let the filthy be filthy still. And I find that amongst these red pill, black manosphere, even manosphere people, they have no intentions of changing their mind. They are already infected with the poison of misogyny and with self-loathing. They're already infected. They're not going to change. They don't want to change. They believe themselves to be correct. They are hostile. They are aggressive. And even on a tiny little channel like mine, they'll be all in my comments just dragging for filth. I don't understand why that is, but they are all in the comments. When it comes to talking about them or talking to women, directly to women, they are in those comments more than women are. So, yeah, they are very much already infected with the misogynistic gene. They're not going to change. I don't know what to tell you. Speaking with Side Post, Halpin further stated that besides hating women, incels also appear to have hostile views toward themselves. We know this. We know this among the black men who exalt women of another community over the women that he came from. Like, we heard this a million times. We know that this is what they do. They exalt other women, other cultures, over the black women. So, this is not new, and it is a product of self-hate. It's not that we care who you go with. The only problem is that you continually bash black women or women of color when you go out the door to whomever you want to date. This is the problem, not who you date, how you direct your anger, your rage, and maybe to a certain extent your hatred toward the woman of color. Although Halpin says the data suggests that incels hate all women, the community appears to specifically dehumanize women of color and see them in both racist and sexist terms. Again, I was just talking about that. Specifically, women of color are seen as more accessible, but less desirable than white women. Yeah. And I hear people say that that's part of white supremacy. I'm sorry, but that's not. I mean, it might have been at one time, but you don't have to choose to be this hostile toward black women. You don't have you choose this. Nobody's forcing this mentality on you. You're choosing this mentality. You're choosing to be this hostile, this mean-spirited, this nasty, this cruel, this heartless, this abusive. You are choosing that behavior. White supremacy, I hear women say, oh, it's white supremacy. They're trying. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not white supremacy. It is truly self-loathing. And the self-loathing comes from whatever. I don't know where it comes from because everyone has a different thing that they hate about themselves. But I just don't see that it's from white supremacy. These men make a conscious effort how they're going to treat women, how they're going to behave with women. And the misogyny only allows them to express that hatred and point it at a specific group of women. Halpin added that around 50% of incels are men of color. No shit. Making the use of racist language towards women of color surprising. Surprising to people of other races because they don't demean their women. Not surprising to black women who are already in the community, and we already know what black men are capable of. So this is not surprising to us. Surprising to you in the research room because you don't bash your women. You don't talk, you don't degrade, demoralize, or denigrate your women in any way. But black men do, and they have been for years. Years. A lot of years. Men of color are also regularly referred to women of color as race traitors for expressing interest in white men. Yeah, the hypocrisy is real. These men are messed up in the head. Like, they are messed up emotionally. They're messed up in the head. They are not viable for dating. I don't know why anybody would try to date them or try to reform them or try to save them. I'm sorry. I think it's already a done deal. What is they're not coming back. They feel the way they feel and they're going to do what they're going to do. It's the passport bros. You have 160 something million women in the United States of America. 20 million of those women are black women, but you're going to sit here and insult all 160 something million women in the United States and 20 million. Come on, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't find one woman here in the United States of America, not one. But you're going to go off in a country where there are less women, less of a population. You're going to find something what? I don't understand. The logic, the arguments, they don't make sense. The researchers concluded that early education and intervention is likely best, the best tool, the best tool, uh, as those on incel forums are almost always already deeply misogynistic. Yeah, it's what I said earlier. They are what they are. There's no changing them. It's not even really a movement as it is a tantrum. I don't see it as a movement as people see it as, oh, it's the passport program. It's not a movement. It's a tantrum. It's the manosphere, the red pill. It's all a tantrum. They're so used to being coddled, men in this country, because the government would conspire with businesses and not allow them to compete with foreigners, women, or anything. So now every time they turn around, these men in the West, mostly the United States, they expect things to come easy to them. They don't expect that women are going to have standards. They don't expect that they have to work a little extra harder. They don't even want to live the hero's journey. Like go out there and find your destiny. They just sit there. They're fine being where they are. They're fine not going to school. They're fine not advancing in life. They're okay with it. They're okay with it. And it's very interesting because now more women are in college, more women are um, in the universities graduating, and more women are taking control of life. And as the future comes along, women will be running that future, because who runs the world? The educated, the elites, the people who have that piece of paper that you don't have, not the men. So I find that very interesting. Where was I? The researchers concluded that early education and intervention is likely the best tool, as those on incel forums are almost always already deeply misogynistic. Yeah. Andrew Tate with the Matrix, that bullshit. Not how do you live in this alternate reality where you didn't say the things that you said on public platforms all over? They banned you because you said the things you said. And now you're going to come up on these platforms and say, oh, they don't want me to say it because, I was speaking the truth. Come on. Come on. I disagreed with deplatforming Andrew Tate because all it did was make his arguments stronger. It made the following more intense. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it certainly galvanized them more, because now they do believe that they're speaking some sort of truth, that they're on the right path, that the world is against them, that they're out here, they're right, and they can say these things about women, and they can be misogynistic, be racist, be whatever the heck they want, because they're entitled to it, and that the Matrix is trying to shut them down. They can sit here and absolutely positively, with absolute certainty, say these things with their chest, from the pits of their stomach. They can say it convincingly. And for people, young men who don't have direction, who are looking for something, this makes sense. The optics do look as though these men are being suppressed, even though there are podcasts, misogynistic podcasts, popping up all over the place, talking about women in derogatory terms. Halpin also argued that the platforming in incel community is also ineffective strategy, given that such censorship, which can be easily bypassed with the creation of a new forum, will only further convince incels that their views are correct. That's exactly what I just said. So, yeah, you're just galvanizing them. You're making them believe that, it's really the truth, and the media trying to shut me down. And, it is what it is. They're just doing me in. They're just, they don't want the truth. They don't want the truth for me and blah, 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 blah. Even though what they're saying is absolutely wrong, absolutely incorrect, and downright evil. Because I said this a while ago, and I said this about Kevin Samuels. The tree doesn't bring forth good fruit. If it was about men's improvement, then men should be improving. They should be getting better. They should be getting stronger and smarter. They should be advancing in life. They should be doing things that people will stop and go, that's interesting. This male improvement information is helping this man become a better person. But that's not what's happening. This manosphere, this red pill, these racist people, these extremists, this is not making the world a better place. It is not improving our men. It's not improving the boys. It's not improving anyone. It is a poison fruit. It is a cursed tree. It's not bringing forth anything worthwhile. And that's why we have to get in here. Women, men, those of you who understand what the real truth is, what real world is, what the real life is between men and women, you got to get in there early. Because the big problem is that these YouTubers, these people on these platforms are influential. They're insidious. Their little platforms can get in your head. They can live rent-free in anybody's head. And we do have to get in there early and stop this from becoming the mainstream. Anyways, I hope I said some things that made sense. And I hope you learned something about the incels. Because even the researchers thought that their lives were kind of sad and pathetic. And they felt bad just doing the research about them. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, don't like, share, and if you look forward to more commentary like this, please subscribe. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye-bye.